This video was made possible by Squarespace. Start your free trial and get 10% off when you're ready to launch at squarespace.com/Alli Cherry. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be filming today because I'm in the new office at our new apartment. It's actually not so new. We've been here for about 2 months now, but it's the first sit down video that I'm filming and I'm very excited if you can't tell. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I sort of organized my kitchen in this new apartment using only things that I bought at my local thrift store. So I'm really excited about this video. Before I get started, I feel like I always need to do a little disclaimer that yes, I know maybe what's available at my thrift store isn't available at yours, but I hope that you can still sort of get some inspiration regardless, because for me, when I first started thrifting years and years ago, I pretty much only focused on clothes and like vintagey stuff. Like I love vintage Pyrex and, you know, I've always loved looking for cool jars and containers and stuff, but I never really looked in this aisle that was like the random home stuff aisle, because it's usually so packed with stuff and you have to really dig through to find something that you're looking for. But I want to encourage you guys to like look in this aisle. I found so many gems, especially recently since I've been moving into this new place. So I'm really excited to share some of the things that I found and hopefully you'll enjoy it too. So let's get started. Nick built this island for us out of as-is cabinets from IKEA, which has been so great and so great for storing things. I've been using the smaller section to store my cookie sheets and cutting board and our pots and pans. And also our cookie sheets are insanely disgusting and dirty. Please don't judge me. They're clean, they're just like really stained because they're old, okay? I know you guys have dirty cookie sheets too, so don't judge me. But anyway, I really like this small cabinet, but it's been sort of difficult because if I need to get something out, usually everything else falls over. So I've been looking for some sort of storage solution for my cookie sheets and cutting board, and I was lucky enough to find this rack at the thrift store that I'm pretty sure is for this purpose. It's metal and it's really hardy, and it ended up fitting perfectly inside this little cabinet. So before I put it in there, I cleaned out the cabinet using my natural everyday cleaner. I'll link it in the description for you. And I was really happy to discover that it fit perfectly in the back. I didn't measure it before I bought it, but I knew I could return it if it didn't end up working. But it ended up fitting perfectly, and now I have all of my large cookie sheets and my cutting board organized in the back here. And I'm just putting my big cast iron pot in front of it, and I'm gonna store my other pots in another place that I'll show you in a second. But I absolutely love how this turned out, and it makes everything really easy to get to. The next thing that I really needed a storage solution for was our reusable water bottles. So we have quite a few. When we travel, I usually take a smoothie in one. You know, they get used, even though it seems like there's a lot of them for just the two of us. But they don't fit in our normal cabinets. They're too tall. So I needed to put them in this sort of big, awkward cabinet deal, but I wanted to corral them so that I could find them easily or pick them all up, you know, out of the cabinet if I was going through them or whatever. And I was lucky enough to find this really, really cute woven basket with a tag still on it at my local thrift store, and I couldn't believe it. I love the style of this basket, and I have several of these around my apartment, but this one is just perfect for all of our water bottles and larger bottles that don't fit anywhere else. And you'll see that this is really something that I do everywhere around my house when I'm organizing, is that I'll get a little, you know, container, whether it's a shoebox or even like a vintage plate for my jewelry in the bathroom, which I'll show you guys in a future video. But I like to corral things in little containers because I find it so easy to find the things I'm looking for that way. And it also helps me to not overbuy or overpurchase things because I have one little basket for like our water bottles or whatever else I'm, you know, thinking about. And if I don't have room for a new water bottle, I won't buy one because this is my designated space for them. Does that make sense? So that's sort of a really easy way that I keep my collections to a minimum and make sure that I'm only having and keeping the things around that I use and the things that I need. So the rest of this cabinet's kind of weird. It's just like this big open space with this half shelf in the back that I can't take out. So right now I'm just using it to store our cooking stuff, like my parchment paper, some aluminum foil that I honestly don't use. I use it mostly for camping. And then I also have some stuff that in our other apartment I used to store in our oven because I had no space for anything over there. But it's just like a serving plate, a colander, and some like Pyrex dishes that I bake in. And then I ended up taking our 3 pots or saucepans or whatever they're called from that smaller cabinet and putting them in here, just stacking them inside of each other. And they fit really well, and I love that there's actually space around them. It's not something that I've had for a really long time, so it's nice that everything's organized and I can see it. And that basket really helps this cabinet feel put together. So now we're moving under the sink, and while this is a pretty big space, there's a lot of cords and wires and stuff that I don't want to mess with, so I just have all of my stuff right in the front. And I bought this little metal like shelf riser thing to put some of my kitchen essentials and some of my bulk stuff as well. And it works out really well because I just have this little cup with my little brushes and stuff in it, and then underneath I keep some extra compostable sponges and the second half of my dish soap that I've been loving, by the way. I showed this in a video a while back, and I still have so much of it left, and it works really, really well for cleaning dishes. But anyway, I just keep that under there and it's great. And then I also have this Lazy Susan that I've had for a really long time, and I honestly don't remember if I got it at a thrift store, but I'm sure you can find these types of things at thrift stores. And this just makes it really easy for me to see all of my cleaning sprays and soaps and stuff that I have. This is my whole collection, and it's just really easy to spin it around and find what I'm looking for there. And then I also have this little basket that goes over the door, and if you guys can find these at thrift stores, just buy them. They're honestly so handy and so useful. And I just keep my dishwashing soap in here and some other essentials that I use for cleaning and dish stuff. I just recently got these compostable trash bags. I used to buy huge paper, they were like bags for leaves or bags for like yard clippings or whatever, but they just recently stopped making those in my hardware stores. And although I don't make nearly as much trash as I used to, I still make some trash because I'm a human, and I don't like to put my trash without a trash bag in the trash can because it makes it more likely that it'll get picked up by the wind and end up in the ocean. So I've been buying these compostable bags, even though it's not going to compost if it's in a landfill, because a landfill's like a tomb. Nothing composts in there. It stays like that pretty much forever. But I feel better buying these corn-made ones as opposed to buying plastic ones. They're honestly not that great. This is a long tangent. They rip really easily, but I'm just really careful with them, and that's what I've been using for my trash bags recently, in case you're wondering. But I just have those there too so I can get to them easily. When we first moved in, I just threw this utensil organizer in here because I had it, and this drawer is just sort of random. It's not necessarily a junk drawer because I do use everything that's in here, but it has like random utensils that were brought home by someone at one point or another, and like chopsticks and all of my lids for my various containers that I keep around, and just random stuff, right? But I use it all, so I want to keep it all, and I want to keep it organized. So I ended up taking that utensil container out, or the utensil holder out, and putting in these drawer dividers that I found at the thrift store. And these things are amazing. They're bamboo and they're on a little spring, so they fit varying depths of drawers. They were kind of tight and a little bit difficult to put in, so you could see me struggling here. But once I got them in, they were just perfect. And I had 3 of them. I had one of them from just having from a while ago, and then I found a pack of 2 at a thrift store. So I ended up just making these long rows for my random junk that I'm keeping in here. So I have this little vintage Pyrex that I ended up putting my mason jar lids in because there are so many of them. I wanted to be able to corral those into one little container. And then I had just like a ton of other random things. So I have some plastic mason jar lids that I have in here. I have some silicone molds for popsicles, again, those random utensils that we have, some little ties and stuff, just a bunch of random things. But when I open this drawer, it's so nice because I can see everything and everything's really easy to get to. I was trying in this clip to organize things facing up, but then as you can see when I shut the drawer, they don't fit, so that's why everything's laying down, but everything fits perfectly and it's awesome. And I really think these were a lucky find at my thrift store, but if you can't find drawer dividers, you can use long thin baskets or even different like serving bowls or serving plates. I've used those before in our other apartment. I had like a ceramic pie dish that I use to organize my lid, so it definitely doesn't have to be these dividers. These are just awesome, and if you ever find them, buy them because you'll use them. And lastly, I have this cabinet. It has a bunch of different things in it. I had just thrown our lids to our like glass Tupperware containers and our stasher bags in the bottom here, as you can tell, and it wasn't the best because things would fall out sometimes when I opened the cabinet. So I was really excited when I found this metal storage basket that's sort of hooked onto the bottom of the cabinet shelf. And at first I tried to fit the lids in there. Some of them were too big and some of them are kind of warped so they didn't lay down straight. But then I put our stasher bags in there and it was perfect. It's going to be so great to have them all in one place and they lay perfectly flat on top of each other in there. So that was the perfect storage solution for me. I also thought about keeping my reusable napkins in there, which would be another great option, or the rags that I use to clean the kitchen with. But yeah, I just love that I'm using this space that in the past was just dead space because I could never really stack anything up that high, and it keeps it just corralled in that little basket and nice and clean. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. You guys, I just recently updated my Squarespace site and I'm so happy with the way it turned out. It's linked in the description if you want to see it. I was able to find a new template that I love and customize it to be exactly what I was looking for. And this is a feature that I really appreciate about Squarespace because I love that I can easily switch things up without spending too much time on the project. They also make it really simple to incorporate e-commerce elements into your website, which is great if you have products or maybe even an ebook that you'd like to sell. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that you can use to put together your website, blog, portfolio, or shop. Use the link below to start your free trial and get 10% off your first purchase.